Crap with Beth and Matt. Cut to Crap is the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast. Hey friends and no bullshitters, how the hell are ya? This week we talk with Daniel Hong of DH Fitness Inc. We talk about his battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma and how that was a catalyst for him with his coaching. We also talk quite extensively about the power of habits and Daniel's 5 healthy habits. Let's get into it.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, guys.
Daniel, what's going on?
What's up, Matt? What's up, Beth?
What's
I'm doing
happening?
great. How are you guys?
We are amazing.
Thank
Yes,
you for
definitely.
pushing out 30 minutes. Appreciate it. My daughter, she just turned 6 months today. She's actually right next to me.
Oh,
Aw.
exciting.
But she's
I
that's Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Olivia,
Her
hi.
daycare had a little COVID incident. So
Oh, no.
they're like, she's got to stay home. So I'm like, yay.
Well, you know, that's the nice thing about being coaches and business owners, right? Is we have that flexibility. It looks like you're at the gym, though. Is that right?
Really. This is our garage gym.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Give
Nice.
you guys a little tour.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Got my ergs and like the ski erg, Echo bike,
Okay.
GHD.
Oh, GHD. Nice. You got a good setup going.
Look at
The
that.
squat rack over there.
Do you train clients out of your garage gym, or is that for personal use?
It's mostly personal use, but I do train just a handful of clients here. But most of my clients, they are pretty self-sufficient as far as like equipment goes and having the space to work out. And I just usually provide programming for them, or I'll go over there and train them.
Got it.
Nice.
Okay.
Kind of like on their dime. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fun. So, Daniel, we met, did we meet in 2020 on TikTok? I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
It's like time has flown by, I swear.
Wow. That is crazy.
Right? Because
'Cause
we were a pretty beginner on there.
Yeah. Because I was trying to think back too. I was like, how did I find Beth? I think I found you through Adam, Wright.
Okay. Mhm.
Nice.
Because I think you guys were, I thought you guys were like partners or something. And then from there I was like, yeah, Beth is like no BS. She's like just a straight shooter, and it's so refreshing. I'm like, dude, I'm following this lady. Like she's the one.
Oh,
It's
thanks,
funny.
Daniel.
We all kind of came up together in a way. You know,
Right?
Beth and I met early on in our journey together on TikTok, and kind of like you mentioned Adam Wright. You know, I think he started around the same time as us, and it's been exciting and interesting to say the least. So
Yeah, TikTok is kind of wild. It's kind of a wild
Right?
place. I've never experienced anything like it.
mhm.
And I was like super reluctant, like everyone else was in the beginning, especially in the
Mhm.
fitness space, because you're like that's, I don't want to dance, I don't want to lip sync, like, that's like cheesy or whatever. But then it hit me. I'm just like, I don't have the reach that I want on Instagram, because it was kind of a weird thing where my business account kind of stemmed from my personal account. So then most of the people following me were my friends or ex-clients, current clients anyway. So they're not gonna buy anything from me or hire me through there. So I was like, let's try something else. And I tried YouTube, and I would one day love to like really build out a good strategy for YouTube, but man, it's super competitive, and
Mhm.
the quality of content over the last couple of years has just like skyrocketed. And I'm like, wow, I don't have the bandwidth or capacity for that right now. But I tried a little bit in 2020 with some help from a buddy, but that's kind of on pause right now, and just trying to scale my business online. Cause I think that's the inevitable pain point that all personal trainers run into, is how do you scale your time and your expertise? Like, how do I do less work and make more money? It's tough.
We want freedom, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So got me on TikTok and got me in front of you guys. So that's cool.
Awesome. And here we are.
I've met some cool people on TikTok, that's for sure,
Amazing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely. And as we got you in front of us here, Daniel, so it's awesome to meet you today officially and chat with you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So Daniel, how did you get into coaching? Like, tell us your story.
Yeah. So I grew up pretty active. I played every like ball sport, got into like rollerblading in the 90s and like, just grew up with all the neighborhood kids playing whatever. And then in high school, I started wrestling. And then in wrestling, I learned a lot of great things. I learned like how to work hard and discipline and cutting weight. I don't recommend cutting weight, but I learned kind of the like discipline stuff behind training. And then I had like a light bulb moment where, we go to tournaments and these kids were just like in real good shape. And I was like, how does that happen? And my coach is like, dude, they spend time in the gym. That's just like what they have to do. If they want their skills to translate onto the mat, they spend time in the gym. And I was like, whoa, it was like a light bulb moment. So I'm like, I'm going to start training. I want to get more fit and have more, abilities on the mat. And then I just kind of fell in love with, working out and seeing the results trickle over into other areas of my life. And then in 2008, late 2008, so all of 2008, I had a lot of pressure and a lot of stressful things in my personal life. And I noticed like I was losing a lot of weight rapidly, like in a weird way. And I wasn't even like switching up my diet or anything. And I started waking up with like cold sweats. Like my bed was like drenched. My skin was super itchy. It was really weird. And then I had an enlarged lymph node in my neck. There's a scar here, but there was like kind of like the size of my thumb. There was like it would just like protrude out of my skin. And I thought it was like a pulled muscle from doing shoulder exercises or something. And then it just didn't feel right. So I went to my doctor. They said, we're going to have to do like a biopsy on it. And already I was like, okay, that's probably not a good sign. And so it came back with, I was in stage 2 of Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it's a lymphatic cancer. Basically my immune system was so compromised just due to, I think it was like a perfect storm of a lot of things. I didn't have the best lifestyle habits, even though I was working out, but you get away with stuff like that when you're young. I was 24 at the time. And just having an incredible amount of stress in my personal life. And I was just like, oh man, this is what it is, and so yeah, stage 2. So basically my lymphatic system from like my neck to like my chest had cancer cells. So 3 months of chemotherapy, some infusions, as well as like a month of radiation therapy. And that was basically it. I mean, I was so lucky to have one of the rare curable forms of cancer at such a young age. And my oncologist was like, we're going to hit you with everything because you're young and you can recover. And I was like, okay, I don't want to die, sure.
Right.
And it was a very surreal experience for me because the way the oncology department was set up was I was in a infusion room with lots of other cancer patients. And every week I would go in for my next infusion, I would see empty beds. And, the nurse is like, oh, so-and-so is, they died. And I'm just like,
that's tough.
What? It was like my mortality was like clearly right in front of my eyes. I saw that. And it hit me in that moment. If I'm in this bed and if I'm sick, not even cancer, just like anything, like if I choose to continue a poor lifestyle of making really bad choices, I'm going to be in this hospital bed often. And if I'm in this hospital bed, I can't fulfill my dreams. I can't do the things I want to do. So from that point on, I basically told myself, look, I got to find myself the best routine day to day that's going to mitigate the risks of something like this to ever come up in my life ever again. And then that kind of got me into the way of thinking of working at the gym. I'm like, that's the hub where everybody's at trying to like get better. And then I realized there are other things, you can't hang your hat on just working out. That is just
Right.
like one pillar of this
Absolutely.
whole health thing, you know, and
Yeah.
that's how I came up with, you know, like, why am I worried about like PRing if I'm not even drinking enough water a day? Why am I worried about like doing 100 pull-ups if I'm not even like, if like I only go to the gym, like there's no other physical activity I do in my day.
Mhm.
Like I don't even go on walks. Like that doesn't seem balanced to me.
Right.
So and my mental
Mhm.
my mental health, you know, I learning from
Yeah.
that experience, and my oncologist is just like, you know, it's stress in your life. I'm like, and then I saw the correlation like between, you know, your mental health and your physical health, like they are directly correlated. You
Yeah.
can't
Mhm.
separate the two, you know. And so that was my experience, and it kind of put me on this trajectory of health and wellness, from a multi like aspect kind of perspective. And that's what I've really had a lot of fulfillment in helping a lot of my clients and the community that I'm able to be a part of on social media. Just to kind of appreciate those things, is that, hey, let's not just say like, just because you eat this one food you're going to be all good, or just because you do this type of training you're going to be all good. That's
Right.
not reality.
Yeah.
Especially if long-term health is a goal of yours. So that's where I'm at now, and I feel really good about the place that I'm in with my messaging and kind of what I do. I
Yeah.
guess like my, if you want to call it your niche or whatever, like that's, I feel good about where I'm at with that.
Yeah. You talk a lot about like healthy habits. Like you have these five healthy habits, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
you talked about. Do you want to talk about the five healthy habits that's like, I
yeah,
guess your foundation?
for sure. And that's exactly the word I use, Beth, is I call it a foundation. So the
Hmm.
5 healthy habits, number one is hydration. Are you drinking at least 2 to 3 liters of water every day? Number two is nutrition. Are you eating within the 4 categories of foods that I talk about, just as a simplified approach to nutrition? And that's lean protein, smart carbs, or complex carbs, healthy
Hmm.
fats, nuts, seeds, avocado, oils,
Sure.
things like that. And then fiber. So prioritizing
Go for
vegetables,
it.
Hmm.
and then fruit, and then your grains and starches or whatever you want. Like it's all good. And so that's healthy habit number two, is nutrition. Number three is
Hmm.
movement, or just light physical activity, at least 30 to 45 minutes of walking every single day. That's
All
something
right.
every capable human being that can do it should do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason why you should not, if you can walk on your feet and be outside. And exercise, you have to do some sort of resistance or loaded training at least 3 times a week,
Hmm.
at least. And you know, there's tremendous benefits that come from, you know, resistance training, weight training. And then
Mm-hmm.
the last one is meditation. So spending at least 15 minutes a day. And I know it sounds like a short time, but I'm sure you guys know with your own meditative practices that it's tough to like
Yeah.
just be present
It's very
in
tough
your
to do that. Shit,
Yeah.
to shut down
it's
for 15 minutes and
I,
wow.
it's super uncomfortable, especially like, I'll speak for myself, like always being on my phone, like
Mhm.
always being on my phone.
Yeah.
hmm.
Thankfully, you know, my wife is very understanding about when I'm in front of my little rectangle, but she she gets it. And I think it's so hard in this day and age for anybody in the fitness space, especially as prominent as you guys are. It's something you always have to do, and it's
Yeah.
exhausting. But to break away from that and be okay
Hmm.
being alone and with your thoughts, like that's important. That's
Yeah.
important, because if you can't navigate that space, there's no amount of
Hmm.
working out, there's no amount of healthy eating that's going to replace mental health. So
Mental health,
Yeah.
physical health, spirituality,
Yeah.
emotional, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's all encompassing.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
call it whatever you need to call it to do it. But those
Hmm.
are the 5 healthy habits. So
Love it.
hydration,
Love it.
nutrition, movement, exercise, meditation.
Okay. With
Yeah. And like Beth said, it's a foundation, you know,
yes.
Yeah.
it's like, and you know, I can't, so I, you know, when I make my TikToks, you know, I lead with like weight loss. And one of the
Mhm.
biggest, you know, one of the biggest pushbacks, people are like, well, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. And I say, I understand that, but how do you remain in a sustainable and healthy calorie deficit
Yeah.
if you're not doing these basic foundational things?
That's the
Exactly.
thing.
So
It's going to be next to
that's the
impossible.
thing.
Everyone wants a perfect calorie deficit number, but okay, here, I can give that to you, right? But that doesn't mean anything. If you can't do any of all this other shit, it means nothing. Like,
right.
You need to focus on your like mental health. What got you into this position in the first place? You got to make sure you're, like you said, you're hydrated, probably not drinking any fucking water, probably drinking your freaking, every night. And then like, you're not pooping, you're not eating any fiber. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, the
fiber is super important. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So I have a newfound appreciation for that, gut health. And, I know people are sometimes like all wooey about like gut health and this, but seriously, it's gut health.
There is a lot of research being done on gut health. There's so much we don't know about gut health, right? And they say that's the second brain for us, really.
Yeah.
And fiber has a direct impact on that. And we still don't fully understand it. And anybody that claims that they do is honestly, they're probably selling you something specifically. But
that's the thing.
Because the experts don't even know what our microbiome is capable of still.
Yeah.
So, but we know it's super, super powerful.
Absolutely. There's a book that I recently, I have yet to get through, but it's called Fiber Fuel.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. Yeah. It talks about, how there are trillions of gut biome. If you don't eat fiber, they can actually die and they don't get replaced. Like they're gone. Once that gut biome is dead because you don't feed it the appropriate nutrients and things that come from fibrous foods, they're gone. You don't get them back.
Talk to the carnivores here. Okay.
Oh boy, we love talking about the carnivore diet.
Stop asking us about all meat diets. Okay, you need that fiber.
Oh my gosh, they just want to hear us say that's okay, so that they can get their meat lovers pizza. It's like they want to justify it. Like, dude, go eat something green. Like, you'll be okay. You're not gonna lose your gains. Something green.
But I don't like veggies, Daniel. What do you do to someone that says I don't like veggies?
You know what? I don't like brushing my teeth either. But if I don't brush my teeth, I'm gonna be a gross human being. So don't be gross. Don't be gross. Like Beth says, you can do hard things. If you've made it this far in life, you've done a lot harder things than eat some freaking vegetables. So
I love that you use that analogy, Daniel, because I made a video over a year ago now on TikTok that said something like, you don't like your veggies? Too bad. You're an adult. Eat them anyway. Your kid doesn't like brushing their teeth anyway, but you tell them to do it because it's good for them and they need to do it. So it's the same concept here.
Exactly.
But
it's the same concept.
We can also challenge people to a little bit, I think, with veggies too. Like maybe they just haven't found a veggie they like or a way of preparing it that they like as well. There's so many things that you can do with veggies and so many different ways you can get them in, right?
And that's the beauty, I think, with nutrition is that when people are like, tell me what to eat. And I'm like, you know what you should eat? You know what you have to eat? You have to eat the foods that you love.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not what I want to hear. I want you to tell me to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell you to do that because you're never going to do it. You're never going to. If you're asking for somebody, a stranger, especially on social media, to tell you what to eat, it doesn't have any weight. What has the most weight and will stick the most for 99% of us is looking at our current diet, thinking about the foods that make us happy, that leave us feeling full and satiated, all that good stuff. And but all of that has its place in our life, just like Beth talks about. Dude, eat your fruit. It's not going to kill you. Eat your pizza, eat your bread, eat your French toast. Like no one's losing all their gains in one meal. Like life is not supposed to be like this. So I think it's refreshing to have voices like you, Matt, like you, Beth, that have this incredible platform to speak just like refreshing, like debunking all these myths about health and fitness. Like it's not that heavy. It's not that complicated.
It's not.
Like, guys, there are way bigger, more important things going on in our lives. Let's make this one the simplest thing, right? And that's kind of the whole thing to have it.
And it's so simple that no one wants to believe you.
They're like, no.
It's like here's the basics, right? You tell them hydration, nutrition, movement, exercise, meditation. But Daniel, there's got to be more to that than that.
I know.
There must be more,
enough,
right?
Not hard enough.
It's like, I must not have this. And you can't, they want to see everything that they can't do, but they forget about everything that they should be doing.
Yes. Wow. That's Write that down. Put that on a poster. Or
I don't even remember
We
what
need
I
our
just said.
editor, Tom.
Well, you're recording, so you have to go back and
Assistant.
We joke so much about we need somebody to help, like an assistant on this podcast.
for real.
For
Oh my god, you guys could like extrapolate so much content from this. But that makes me think too about the importance of habits. Is the only way habits are formed is with the least amount of friction, the least amount of resistance and pushback from yourself. And since learning about habits and how our brain processes triggers and how it keeps a memory bank of these learned patterns and behaviors, the only way it does that are with simple things, right? Like think about reversing out of your driveway. You know, you're turning on the heater, you're turning on the window wipers, you're adjusting your podcast you're going to listen to. You're probably thinking about like the 10 emails you got to respond to. Sometimes we don't even remember how we get to work or wherever it is we're going. We're just on autopilot because it's been a habitual pattern of just like behavior. And it's the same thing with our health. Imagine if drinking enough water, moving your body, meditating, exercising, and eating appropriately for you and your goals was just autopilot. Like there's no resistance, zero friction. Imagine the type of life you'd be living, the quality of life you'd be living. And that's my whole thing is like, look, you want to like a ripped six pack, you can have that. You want to lose 30 pounds or 100 pounds, you can have those things. But you have to dial in this autopilot sequence of healthy habits first before you even try those things, or else you're just going to be disappointed. Or like what makes the fitness space so lucrative is someone's going to sell you something. They're going to sell you a dream. Be like, you don't have to do those. You don't have to do those habits. Here, just do this thing. Do this one thing. But
we have the magical pill. We have the solution to all your problems right here for $5,000 or whatever it might be.
I know. and you know, it works, unfortunately, because going back to what you were saying, Beth, like no one wants to do that hard stuff. No one wants to do the simple, mundane, monotonous, boring stuff. But unless you do those things,
we're so conditioned to believe that it need to be sexy and exciting and instant results. And
and that's when people quit. That's when people quit, is because they think that they're not, because they're doing those things that, you know, that they need to do every single day, but they're not getting the results quick enough. So those things must not work. Yeah. And then they quit, right? And they fucking miss the gate. Yeah. And they start over and over and over. When if they would have cruised on by doing those boring basic shit every single day, a year later, they'd be where they want to be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's so right. And what's sad about that situation is for most of those people that are committed, they've made certain sacrifices to get to that point of no return. And then they turn around when, if you just went a little bit more, you would have found the light. You would have found freedom on the other side of that. If you just persisted, if you just pushed through a little bit more. Yeah. And
right when it gets hard, if you keep going, like the reward is coming. Like,
right.
That's when the results are coming. If you just push through that a little bit.
It's a good indication you're probably doing the right things. You're going against the grain. And, you know, it's like running a marathon. Sometimes marathon runners like strategically will increase their pace time because they know that they have to recover. They have to go slower to finish the race strong. You know, it's just like, we have to try and help our people understand that. But yeah, I get it. It's not sexy. It's not like a mind-blowing like thing to think about, but it's what works. It's been proven over and over and over again.
Yep. And, you know, I'm assuming you've read Atomic Habits, Daniel. It sounds like you probably have. That's one of my favorite books.
Good. The Power of Habit. That's another good one. Why the F Can I Change? That's another good one. That's written by a neuroscientist. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but that one's a little bit more scientific, but Atomic Habits is up there for me. Tiny Habits is up there. BJ Fogg. Charles Duhigg with The Power of Habit.
Okay.
Those I always recommend.
With Atomic Habits, I believe it's James Clear that said this. Make that habit so easy to do that it's impossible to say no to it, right? And that's kind of what you're talking about with building those habits and those foundations. And we get these questions all the time. I'm tired. What pre-workout should I be using for my workout? Like, first of all, you don't need a pre-workout. Like, are you using it because you're using it as a crutch to cover up your shitty sleep? That's a foundational habit right there that we need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna mask that symptom with a pre-workout. We're gonna try to fix the root cause.
Yeah. And it begs to, ask the question, why don't you want to face that? Like, why don't you want to face something so simple as like going to bed a little sooner? Like, well, what's going on there that you are not okay just being like, come on, I got to get my shit together. Like, what is it about that you're not okay with doing?
It's like you keep saying that you're consistently tired, right? And you work all the time, but you go to bed at fucking 2 a.m. and get up at 6. Get your shit together. Like, go to bed at 9 o'clock like a freaking adult.
And I can add something to that. I don't know if this is necessarily evidence-based, but I believe I read this from a neurosciences guy. I don't recall who it was. I'll try to look it up for the notes, but they were saying something like, we don't have control of a lot of our day-to-day stuff anymore with work and family life and things like that. One thing we do have control of is our bedtime. So we're rebelling when it comes to bedtime. And so we're staying up later because we have that control. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate, but it sounds pretty legit to me.
Makes sense. And I hear a lot of people, that's my only time. It's like, okay, but if you're consistently complaining that you're tired and it's really fucking up your entire life, not getting sleep, then why do you keep doing that? Like, you probably would have more time if you actually got more sleep, because then you'd be able to think clearly. You'd
be running more efficiently. And totally.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true about the things that we can control. There's a certain level of like emotional fulfillment that comes from that too, right? Like being in control. Because like you made the point, Matt, about that neuroscientist, is that when we feel like we don't have control, like we get anxious, we get super irritable, we get cranky. We're just not a good, like we don't feel like us when we're like constantly worried about, am I going to make enough money? Am I going to have enough work? Like, where am I going to live? And like, what am I going to eat? Like, there's so many things that we can stress about, but if we look for those points in our life that we can control, like sleep, like drinking some water, making your bed, brushing your teeth, like if we can do those things on a more consistent basis, people would be absolutely floored by how better they're going to feel. And I don't mean because like you're losing weight, like none of that stuff. I mean, just like
weight loss,
just feeling good about yourself. And once you can respect yourself enough to do those things, do them consistently, then you can start doing all the other stuff you want. You want to lose 30 pounds? Go lose 30 pounds. Like you want to lift, you want to PR every time you go to the gym? Sure. Great. Go do that if that's what you want to do. But you got to dial in this stuff first, the simple stuff. Come on.
And it's funny, if you do those things, you might find you maybe you don't want to lose weight anymore. You thought weight loss was the answer, but maybe you just focused on building a healthy foundation, right? And now you feel great. Now you look great, and things like that. And you don't like, I don't need to lose these last 20 pounds. What's that going to do for me? Maybe that happens.
No, absolutely. Like I had a buddy of mine, and during one of his intake sessions with consultations with one of his clients, he asked her, what is your goal working with me? And she was like, I want to lose X amount of pounds. It was like a perfect number, like people are always like 30 pounds. And he's like, all right, so how do you know it's 30 pounds and not like 32 pounds or 27.67 pounds? Well, what is it about 30 pounds? She's like, well, when I was 30 pounds lighter, I was like in the best shape of my life. She's like, okay, so why do you want to look that way? And they're like, well, I felt confident when I go to the beach. Okay. Who do you go to the beach with? It's like, I don't go with my friends anymore, but I go with my family. Okay. I don't want to wear a t-shirt in front of my daughter when we're at the beach, because now she's asking me, Mommy, why are you wearing a t-shirt at the beach? Go play in the water with me. And she's not okay doing that because she's just not comfortable in her skin for whatever reason. I'm not saying being a certain weight is worthy of you have to wear a t-shirt at the beach. But the point he made was that, when we deep dive a little bit with our clients, to your point, Matt, maybe it's not about losing weight. Maybe it's about something else. Maybe it's about confidence. Maybe it's about control. We talked about control. And then like, how freeing is that? Because you're like, I don't actually need to lose weight to be happy. Like, awesome. Bingo. I don't have to count calories. I don't have to be reading the nutrition facts of everything I eat anymore, because I've learned that there are things that I can do that's going to make me probably happier than focusing on losing weight.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's powerful.
Very
that
powerful.
was super powerful. Yeah. Yeah. And you like exactly, like start taking care of yourself and do those little things that to honor your body and like respect your body. And like you start just feeling better in general, like sleep makes you feel better. Like drinking water makes you feel better.
Totally.
Going outside to get some vitamin nature, it makes you feel better.
Vitamin nature, yes.
I love that. Vitamin nature. Go get some vitamin nature. You're not going to get
Go
it in
some
a pill.
vitamin N, you know?
Sun's finally coming out too. Goodness. At least here in Ohio it is.
It is here too. It just started peaking.
It's supposed to snow. It was 80 this weekend and then snow next week, apparently. So that's Ohio.
That's all over the place.
Yeah. Where are you from, Daniel? The West Coast?
I'm in the Bay Area here in Northern California. So San Francisco Bay Area. I'm in the South Bay.
All right.
Silicon Valley-ish.
Nice. Okay.
Very unique opportunities here in the fitness health space. There are so many fitness related activities you can do here. It's really, really concentrated. Per capita is probably one of the most densely populated like fitness places in the country, I would say.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really interesting to see how much of a role health plays in people's lives here. And then sometimes I always have to remember, I have to like have a macro view, like when I'm speaking to people on social media, because they may not it's not as natural for them to eat better or to regularly exercise and have multiple memberships to multiple gyms and for multiple programs. Like that's not normal for a lot of people. So
absolutely.
Have to remember that.
Yeah, I love that, the macro view. So, simplifying things, right? Which is something that Beth and I do with this podcast and with all of our content, is just stop majoring in the minors, really. And, you're on that same page with your 5 healthy habits and those foundations. And because really our health, our mental well-being, everything, that's what it is. It's a culmination of our habits. We have a lot of bad habits. Well, somewhere along the line, that's going to reflect in our health, sooner or later. And there's not just one of these things by themselves isn't going to give us bad health or give us great health either, in terms of food and things like that. But if we do a lot of those things, then for sure, it's going to definitely have an impact, positive or negative.
And like one of my like taglines or whatever is health is a habit. And to your point, Matt, I honestly believe that from personal experience too, that your health at any given moment in time is just a compounded result of habitual behavior.
I agree. I agree.
That's it.
Now, of course,
there's
stuff we can't control, but
yeah. Like, I mean, it's like nobody gets drunk off of their 11th shot. It wasn't the 11th shot of tequila that got you drunk. It was like the 3 beers and then the like 5 other shots and then this that got you, that's what led to that point. So it would be unfair to just pinpoint one thing and be like, oh man, it's this is one thing that's like totally keeping me overweight or keeping me not confident and comfortable in my own skin. It's like, that's probably not true. If you're being honest, you really have
just
to
broke
like
some hearts when you said that. And we probably sound like broken records, honestly, on our podcast, because this is the stuff we talk about all the time. But I know we're helping people though too.
Yeah, it needs to be things need to be repeated though. I feel like it takes them a while to really ingest things. Yeah. At least that's what I've come to find out.
Repetition. Daniel actually talked about that earlier, right? With your habits and everything. So that's how you form a habit, is repetition.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You just have to do, it's like just the littlest things over and over and over again. And then down the road, it's going to show itself. But I think what you guys are doing, especially with this podcast too, I think is really neat. It may sound like a broken record, but to hear that same message repeated with different guests that are not necessarily affiliated with the podcast or with your own individual brands, like that's got to be pretty cool for your audience to hear. You're like, oh, it's not just like a Matt and Beth thing. This is like all good trainers and like people in the fitness space that we can trust they're all talking about the same thing in a slightly different way. Like,
Yeah.
that's really important because I don't know that there are a lot of at least audio formats like what you guys are doing with the No BS podcast that's helping people to see that connection.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. And the funny thing is, like, we don't script what we talk about here, right? You came on here, we just started talking, and that's how we do it with all of our guests. But there's always this reoccurring theme pops up. So
yeah,
very interesting. Yeah,
which and like you said, like
for the
everyone.
listeners,
I was just gonna say, everyone, like you said, everyone has their own way of depicting in this information.
Absolutely, and it's really good for your audience to hear that, because I'm guessing a lot of your podcast audience is coming from your TikToks, and this younger audience needs to hear the truth now before they get all tied up in
they can break the cycle now.
Yeah, exactly.
Super important. Super important.
Absolutely.
So the cancer, that was 14 years ago then? Is that right?
Yeah.
2008.
14 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. And that took you down for what, 6 months or so, you said? Or
that I was probably trying to figure out my body and my health for like a year after that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I tried a lot of different things. I tried to get back into like contact sports with like grappling and wrestling. It wasn't really my thing. I'm not like hyper competitive like in sports. So it's like you got to kind of have that edginess if you're going to compete. Yeah. And I was like not really interested in that. I tried to like get into running, but like running long distances really sucks. So I'm like, that's not really my thing. No offense to anybody that are like marathon runners. Hats off to you, because I think that's incredible.
Respect. Yeah.
But probably the better part of my last 10 years, I was like really, really into CrossFit. Like that was my big thing, CrossFit. And Beth knows this. I love burpees. She doesn't love burpees, but that's okay. We can still be friends. We can still be friends, Beth. But I really got into CrossFit, and look, it's not for everybody. It really is not. There are a lot of people that I've seen come through the gym that should have not been doing CrossFit. And I think towards the end of my tenure in teaching CrossFit at a gym, I realized that people still need a tailored approach, and sometimes they need to be like, you need to pull back a little bit. You need to like really think about what's important to you. And so that's what again got me going back to the basics, going back to the foundation, and being like, seeing the same people coming in through the gym with the same injuries, or the people that said they joined the gym to lose weight and they haven't done that. And, are you happy? Are you getting what you want out of this program? If not, then you can either continue not changing anything and potentially waste your time, or do you want to figure out what's going on? Let's look at your lifestyle habits. Let's look at your, life, the things that you do outside of the gym. So that's kind of where I got to by the end of 2019. Yeah, I stopped training CrossFit, at least for a job. 2019. So
do you still work out CrossFit style then? You still do WODs and things?
Yeah, I do multi-body functional movements. Oh, hello, little friend. Yeah, I still do that. I met my wife at the gym. So,
awesome.
We still love, we love doing dynamic exercises and but we're not like busting out the calculator to like figure out our percentages for like a snatch or anything. Like those days are like long gone. I'm like, I don't need that.
Have you ever competed?
I did not compete myself personally, other than like the online competition that they hold every year. But I trained with some elite competitors that like went to the games. So I saw firsthand what is necessary to make it to the CrossFit Games. And it's not healthy. It's not. It's just like any other sport. If you want to compete at the highest level, there's absolutely a price to pay. So to say that CrossFit Games athletes are the healthiest people in the world, I would 100% disagree to that, because I've seen it firsthand.
They're super ripped and super shredded and super in physical shape. But as we know, being in shape doesn't mean you have great health.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And I think that people don't realize that. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that. They look at someone like that, they're like, oh my God, I want to be like that. It's like, that does not necessarily equate to health. Like, so.
Yeah, or you know what? You're not gonna work hard enough for it. I'm sorry. Like
I'm not. I don't want to.
People are like, oh man, like I want arms like her. I'm like, or this is even better when some of my female clients are like, but I don't want my arms to get as big as hers. I'm like, they won't, because you're not gonna work hard enough for it.
Right.
It's like let's be real. These people are in the gym 3 sessions a day, and they're going 100% redlining every time. Like you and I
pushing their bodies to extreme limits.
Exactly. You and I could not and should not be doing that multiple times a week. No.
That's an interesting point too, Daniel, because that's something we hear a lot too with women, right? I don't want to get bulky. Like some women think that because they're conditioned to think that they need these low weights and high reps and super fast pace and things like that. But some people think that just looking at a weight is going to make them big and bulky like a professional bodybuilder, right? And that they have been very intentional and worked their asses off for decades plus to get looking like that. You're not going to do that by accident.
No, like, first of all, be respectful. Don't discredit the amount of sacrifice and work they've had to do in thinking that you're going to get it in one session of doing some T-bar rows. Like, that's not going to happen to you. Like, let's be real. And secondly, you don't need that. That is not your goal, because you're a parent, you're a full-time working employee at a company, and you have all these other more important responsibilities and obligations. These people are being paid to be stripped of all of those worries and stresses so that they can just look a certain way or whatever your sport is. So it's like, we're talking about 2 different worlds, and let's just be honest with the one that we're in and do the basics really, really well. Do them really, really, really well.
And they'll be set for the most part. Yeah.
I mean, that's a CrossFit saying, do the common uncommonly well. It's like,
I like that. I like that.
You learn that at the level 1, but that's what they talk about. Like, do the basics: push-ups, squats, run. Can you run? If you can't run,
with good form.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's low-hanging fruit. Like, work on that stuff first. Don't worry about all the tip of the spear kind of things.
No, it's funny you mentioned running, and I've been very vocal about hating running. I've done a 5K years ago, but I've been thinking about my next thing that I want to do in terms of fitness, and running actually keeps popping up in my head because I hate it. So and it makes me uncomfortable. So that kind of makes me want to do it. So I'm not going to say I'm not committing to running yet, but I might start doing some running just because of that. But
that's funny you say that, because I've been thinking about going. I used to run like a lot. Actually, last time I really, really ran, but which turned me off, was I trained for a marathon, and like a few weeks before the marathon, it got canceled because of COVID. So I trained in the winter of fucking Maine.
Oh
my God. For a marathon. And I was like, they were like, it's, you can't run it. And I was like, done. I'm done.
I love it.
Wow, that is terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. Then I got.
You know what, Beth? You should have just ran it, being like, "No, I'm showing up tomorrow, and I'm gonna run through my own finish line tape." And
my friends wanted me to run through my neighborhood, and I was like, "I'm not running through my neighborhood of fucking Thomaston, Maine, so I could just do it. I'm not doing that." Yeah. I was pissed.
Yeah.
Oh
so my God. I've been thinking about running again, just because I need to do some cardio. I walk. Oh, no. But I know, Matt, maybe we can run when you get here. But
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why are you telling me this, Beth? Now I feel like we have to do this. That's like, this is our thing now.
I ran a mile the other day on my treadmill, and it felt really good.
Did it? Okay. I have to get some running shoes if I'm going to do this. I'm not properly equipped.
So
if you guys are going to do it, we should do like a run club and just like accountability.
Right?
Okay. All right. This is happening. Let's
do it. I'm down. My wife loves running.
I like it because it takes me to a place mentally that I can just check out. And that's what I've been missing from running. And I was talking about today, like yesterday, I just checked out. There's just so much going on that I feel like when I run, I don't look at my phone. I just listen to my music or a podcast, and I just go. I haven't had that in a long time, and I think it's something that I need back.
It's so true. I mean, going back to mental health,
You know,
do those activities that get you to just like hyper focus on just one thing. You know, if it's just looking down at your feet, if it's like, you know, like that's really, really important. And sometimes, you know, there's something to be said about those types of like monotonous disciplines that seem boring, but there's a lot of benefit to it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to the running shop this weekend.
Get sized up for some shoes. There you go.
Yep.
Get some what do you want to call it? What are my favorite?
I don't even know what, like, that's the thing too with running shoes. Like, you should get properly fitted and see an actual professional for that, right? Don't just go to like some random store and pick out some random Nikes for you.
Brooks are really good. Brooks are really good running shoes.
Okay. I absolutely love Nike. Like, I've been a Nike whore most of my life, just growing up in sports and stuff. Sure. But any way I slice it, my pronated flat feet will never, ever find any Nike silhouettes to be comfortable. So finally, like what you're thinking of doing, Matt, I went to a like actual run shop and they looked at my gait. They did an analysis on like my foot striking, and they're they're like, oh yeah, let me grab you some shoes. And I was like, oh man, I wonder what like super cool Nike Alpha Flies, like marathon shoes they're gonna bring out. And it was like a Brooks. And I was just like devastated. I'm like, I have to wear old man shoes
because it doesn't look cool and look sexy, right?
Exactly. Right? But they're like, what are you talking about? This shoe has all the specs that you need to run healthy. And I was just like, all right.
When you put it that way.
When you put it that way, you know what? It's like, I'm not worried about, you know, the brand anymore.
The aesthetics of it. And what's cool and what's popular. Who cares if it's not conducted to overall health, right?
Right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right. Exactly.
I'm actually excited to, you know, kind of not really get back fully into running, but incorporate it more in my life again.
Yeah. I think just incorporating it is great. I'm down.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is happening. So
all right. Everybody listening, you heard it live. Start preparing yourself to see some content about, you know, some slow running content coming out.
Totally. Because we've been talking about walking for so long, and I just did a powerlifting competition a month ago, actually.
Oh my gosh, nice. Congrats, man.
Thank you. And so I was talking about like, what's my next thing going to be, you know, and I'm going to compete again. I just don't know when, but this will kind of be a nice thing for me to work on in the meantime. So
yeah, that's like the opposite end of the spectrum, but
it really is. Yeah. And on that note, actually, I haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks myself personally. I haven't gotten a workout in 2 weeks. I've been traveling, lots of hiking.
That's awesome.
And just enjoying myself. And I'll be honest too, after the powerlifting meet, the last thing I wanted to do was be in the gym. It was just that taxing, you know, and I haven't even touched a barbell since the meet.
Wow.
Today's I'm working out today. It'll be my first barbell workout, but, I'm ready for it for sure, but I haven't even felt bad that I've probably gotten 5 workouts in with weights in the last month, you know, and that's okay. It's just, I've been doing other things. So that's what I want people to understand. Seasons of change and seasons of life. Like you're going to be more on it than not sometimes, you know, and sometimes you're going to not be on it, and that's okay. It's what we say earlier. It's just a collection of what you're doing most of the time. So
yeah, I think people get informed that health and fitness is like this perpetual state of just like constantly improving. Like nobody can sustain that. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody.
Maintenance is progress. Maintaining and
absolutely.
Yep.
My whole thing with the habits is you can elevate your foundation. You know, if your foundation is like 1 glass of water with a meal, like your next step should be to elevate that floor. You know, it should be 2 cups of water with meals. Like that kind of stuff you can move the needle on. But it's like no one's in this drastic state of constantly like losing weight, or else we die. If everyone just like lost weight more and more, like you would just die. Or like
can't be doing it forever.
No. And nobody gets to their PR squat and then just like continues to PR and PR and PR. Like we're not like Mr. Unbreakable. Like that doesn't happen. you know, so
us normal people know.
yeah, exactly.
And even the people that are doing that, you know, the professionals, they're going to be paying a price sooner or later down the road, right?
Sure.
Their body's going to break down most likely. So,
yeah,
yep.
Injuries bound to happen. Bound to happen.
For sure.
It's been awesome having you on the podcast, Daniel.
Oh, thank you so much. No, I'm honored that you know, I know I kind of inserted myself, but thanks for making the time to schedule me in.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we're more than happy to, dude. We love it. We love the fact that we got the opportunity that you wanted to come on the show. Honestly, we truly appreciate that. And hell, we're starting a running club now, so that's pretty cool. So.
Wow, like Matt just made it like official. Like he gave it the title.
Everybody listening, who wants in on the running club? Let us know.
Hey, we could do the couch to 5K. I've actually, when I was coaching at the gym, I actually coached a class called the Couch to 5K, and I trained about 12 people to run their first 5K. It was actually a really fun experience.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do, Beth?
You know what? We could do it together. The Couch to 5K. It's free. Yeah. If anyone on this listening to this podcast wants to do it, if anyone wants to run their first 3 miles, you can literally go from nothing to running your first 3 miles. So Couch to 5K is a free app. Download it. It's a walk run program. So each week you progressively add more minutes to your run. So yeah,
you're literally going to start by walking, and you're going to be like, is it what more? No, follow the program.
Yeah,
you'll be running in 30 days or however long it takes. Yeah,
it's like 8 weeks. It's not 30 days. It's like a good 8 to 10 week program.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense for like the average person. Like literally, if you've just been like glued to the couch.
A lot of people, running, you shouldn't be running from A to fucking 110, right?
No,
or 0 to 110, because injuries happen. People they go running, then they get plantar fasciitis, shin splints. I'm the perfect example that happened to me.
Oh.
So building up your running slowly. I mean, you're putting a lot of body weight on the ground, you know, whatever max that's hitting at. So you want to progressively do it slowly to build up the momentum to run that straight with injury free, which is key.
Exactly.
So Couch to 5K is a great place to start. And I've done it over and over again a million times. So
I've actually never done it. But speaking of apps that I used to follow one app that I enjoyed when I used to be a runner. It's called Zombies Run. You guys ever heard of that?
No.
It's an interactive mobile app that tracks your runs and everything for you, but it's also like a video game. It's got a storyline, and you're listening to it. Yeah, it's got a storyline, and you're in an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse.
That's cool.
And you're having to run into different forts and things like that. So it sets these distances for you. It's really fucking cool.
Nice.
That's cool. You know, like gamifying any endeavor is always fun.
I'm a huge gamer, so it resonates with me.
There you go. Love that. I love that.
Love that.
Amazing.
All right, so we'll have to figure out when we have a start date.
Yep, we'll figure that out. But people will be listening to this in a couple of days when it comes out. We definitely gotta go get shoes. I don't know. Do you have shoes, Beth?
We can. Yes, do I have shoes?
I've got hiking boots, but
I got a letter
and chucks, but that's not gonna be good. So.
I was a runner. Yeah. I ran.
You have like different shoes for different terrains and like
distances. I have trail running shoes. I have road running shoes. I have minimalist shoes.
Yeah.
I was in it. I've done it. I can't count how many half marathons I've done.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Please don't get me to do one.
And so I've taken a break. I've taken a good 2-year break from running.
Yeah. No, that's probably a good thing.
Pandemic.
Because now it gives you.
I think I needed it really actually, because I was in a consistent state of like just running and a lot of cardio and strength training, and I never really focused on like building muscle. So these 2 years, I put on some significant muscle compared, because when you're running, it's like counterintuitive, really. If you're doing a lot, if you're running 30 miles a week and strength training, like the cardio is gonna,
it's hard to do both. You can, but you gotta be very tuned in.
Yeah.
And so the coach that I work out with in the mornings, I was like, I'm the biggest I've ever been on the scale. He's like, well, Beth, you were fucking running for so long. Like when we were coaching together, you were just the runner and you strength trained. Like, he's like, now you've like built significant amounts of muscle, which you didn't do before. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Duh.
Yeah, so for sure. Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
All right. Well, people are thinking. Hopefully, people want to get inspired by this too, because we're gonna fucking do it. So
let's do it.
It's the perfect time of year.
Yeah, weather's changing. Might as well, right?
There you go.
All right, let's do it. This gives me something exciting, you guys. This is
let's strategize some content to put out.
Let's do it. People. We'll start a group chat on Instagram or something, and we can.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing. Cool.
Love it.
So Daniel,
awesome.
where can people learn more about you if they want to connect with you, follow you? Do you have any offers, freebies, or anything like that you want to promote?
Yeah, if you go to 5healthyhabits.com, you can find out about our monthly challenge that I host. The May challenge, we have our 10-day countdown starting today. So if you want to go find out about that, it's just the spelled out 5healthyhabits.com. If you go to the link in my TikTok profile, if you go to me on TikTok, DHFitInc, at DHFitInc, you can get a free 5-day guide PDF if you just want to try it for free for 5 days. And the program, it's $29. It's less than $1 a day, but you're going to get 30 days of video content exclusively through the platform that I use. You're going to get a workout program, recipe cards, as well as our Facebook group for us to have live Q&As together that are private for the people that sign up for our members. So if you want to find out all that stuff, I'm on TikTok at DHFitInc. I'm on Instagram at DHFitnessInc. And again, 5healthyhabits.com.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate it.
Yay!
Thank you so much for your time today, man.
Yes, it's been so fun talking to you.
Very cool. Thank you guys for inviting me onto your platform to speak to your audience about the importance of habits. And it's something I'm really, really passionate about. And hopefully I've added some value to your lineup of guests.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome, Daniel. Thanks again.
All right.
We'll
talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Woohoo! All right, Daniel, that was a good one. I love it. The power of habits.
Yes. 5 healthy habits. I love that. He's super positive, and we're all on the same wavelength here.
We really are. Truly are. Habits are so damn important. Stop majoring in the minors.
Yes. Oh my God.
Most of our problems that we see with our health and fitness and energy and sleep and things like that, they can be solved by working on building a healthy, strong foundation. You don't build a house by putting the roof on, the doors and windows first, right? No, you build the fucking foundation. You pour the concrete, you dig a hole, whatever. I don't know how to build a house, but I imagine that's how it's done.
But I need these certain nails to put in this freaking hole.
Yeah, don't worry about the fucking nails before the concrete has been poured. Jeez, I love it. Look at that little analogy. Cool.
Yeah.
And now people are probably going to be sending me messages. What are you fucking crazy? You going to start running now? Well, apparently I'm starting to run now. So.
Well, it's just something to focus on. That's, it's good for your mental and physical health. And it's something that it's been a part of my life for a while that I kind of let go. I'm signed up for a race in May that I'm not doing because I didn't train for it. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Why did I do that?
How long of a race is it?
It's a 9-miler. It's something that I've done two times already. And the fact is, I think I didn't train for it because I kept thinking I'm not as good as I was a few years ago. And that's stupid.
Okay. Yeah. That mindset.
So, and also I don't have the time to train for something like that like I used to. Like I taught at the gym. I didn't have my own business. So I was able to run and do all that stuff. And now my life is a lot different. And that's also part of that.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's just different shade of life is all.
But if I can go on walks, I can incorporate that back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if it's going to be, I'm going to imagine that running will replace at least some of my walking for me. Cause obviously there's only so much time that you have to commit to something like that. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times. What else is new for you?
That's about it.
That's about it.
We have our Patreon, you guys.
We do have the Patreon. Let's go ahead and talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Which is exciting because we're almost wrapping up our first full month of the Patreon, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
we're getting
crazy.
ready to release the May workouts, the May monthly challenges. We've got some exciting things coming for that. And I got to say, I'm loving the engagement we're getting from people that do become a patron of ours. You know, people are taking the workouts we're giving them and just telling us about, like, what's really cool is like, oh, I got sick last week, but I'm back to it this week, and things like that. And just giving this plan to people and watching them implement it themselves and start seeing the growth and get stronger and things like that. What I'm really looking forward to are the people that are doing this month after month with us, following the programs that we're releasing and seeing how they feel and how much stronger they get and things like that, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, so on and so forth. So, now you also mentioned before the call that you're doing a cooking class tonight with Rich, who is the professional chef that we have doing the recipes for us on the Patreon, right? So will any of that stuff that you're doing tonight, will that make its way onto Now We're Cooking, which is what you get access to?
I believe it will. Oh yeah, okay. I believe it will. I believe we're making homemade focaccia tonight.
Ooh, oh, I fucking love focaccia.
Right?
I have not had it since like pre-pandemic, honestly.
Really? Oh my God, focaccia bread is to die for. So I think it's going to be made with like a high protein. I'm not going to give out the recipe. So join our Patreon, or if you're a client of mine, these will be available to you soon.
I love it because that's just an amazing everyday food that people enjoy, that makes people feel good, and you're going to be putting a spin on it, right? Giving it more high protein and probably lower calorie, right? And that's exactly what we're doing with that Patreon.
Exactly. So, it's not about giving up the foods you love, right? Or at all. But it realistically, you cannot have these things consistently, or you can every day, all day, every day, as much as you want. You know, there needs to be some moderation. And this way, like, it's all about finding stuff that you love, that tastes good, that's not going to break the bank of your entire day. So that's what these meals are. It's not telling you that you shouldn't have lasagna, but you can have lasagna and a lot more of it for lower calories. Like instead of having a little tiny piece of lasagna, you can have a big ass piece of lasagna.
Big ass piece of lasagna. I love it. Yeah, for sure. So, and with us getting ready to wrap up the month, then, you know, when you become a patron of ours, you get access to all of our previous content too. So you sign up, let's say you sign up now at the end of April, guess what? You get April's workouts, you get April's monthly challenges, and you're going to be getting May's here in a week or so, whenever those come out. You know, on the first of the month. And same with the recipes. There's new recipes that, you know, added routinely. So
every month, new recipes.
$5 to $10 a pop, or $5 to $10 a month. Let's cut the crap here.
Yeah, pretty good deal. And probably the best deal you'll get on this Now We're Cooking.
100%. Because the unique partnership we have with them, right? For just the Patreon. They can't do that for everybody, what they did with us. And
So
amazing. All right. Well, that's a good, awesome episode. Daniel was great. I'm looking forward to connecting more with him now, especially with the running content and running stuff that we're going to do together now. So
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Something to
it'll be so different. And we were just talking about that before this, right? Like we need something new to talk about on our platforms and lifestyle focused and things like that. And this could be a nice, fun little venture for us. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, actually. I have a newfound.
I honestly, me personally, I want to get more into talking about hiking and getting people inspired to go hiking and things like that, because as much as I do that, so that's I'm gonna try to find a way for me to incorporate some of that content too. I got some of my clients. One of my clients is actually getting ready to do his first hike, and it was really cool for me to kind of coach him. It was a last minute decision, so we didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it, but we had a couple of weeks of like, all right, here's what we can do to kind of get your capacity up and endurance and things like that. So I love helping with stuff like that too.
Yeah. And what did you have him do?
Honestly, we stopped strength training for the 2 weeks that he was doing, and we just replaced his strength training with walking workouts. So we did some treadmill work, some incline treadmill work, some intervals, and also walked with like a weighted backpack to stimulate, you know, what the pack you would be carrying on the hike, water, food, and things like that. So
nice.
Yep. Nothing crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But yep. That's really all it takes.
Yes, got to start training for Katahdin too.
Yes, totally. I just got back from my trip to Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, and some of those hikes, going up the side of that mountain of Grand Teton, whew, I was like, all right, get my ass kicked a little bit right here. Could have let my son know that, of course. But here's my 12-year-old son, like running up the side
like
of the
a
hill.
fucking Billy Goat and shit, right?
But it was so much fun, and I'm glad that I'm getting these hikes in now. But definitely got to prepare for Katahdin. I'm not going to be able to just throw myself into that one. So
no. Yeah. So running should help start like a little get
absolutely.
You. That's another one. I'm like that. I was really conditioned when I hiked Katahdin.
Yeah, your cardiovascular endurance, everything will be really.
Oh
really
yeah. Good. So that's going to be a plus. Stairmaster, hot incline treadmill.
Yeah.
More hiking around here.
Yeah. Totally. And when I come back again to visit you, hopefully next month, we'll do some more hiking.
Another hike.
And well, better weather. So
yeah, things will be greener.
Definitely. That was my only downfall not my downfall, but my only complaint. Of course, for what we're going to the Grand Teton when I did and everything's under snow. But it was still beautiful. Now I have to go back. Me and my son already agreed, like, yeah, we're going to go back when the colors turn, when the lakes are thawed and everything, so we can go swim in those glacier lakes. So.
Right. I told you I got a parking pass for Katahdin, right? I
think you did that. Put that in the group. Yeah. Yep.
So I bought a parking pass for, so we are going to be doing Knife's Edge. So write that down. And so you can research it.
Knife's Edge. Okay.
We're doing Knife's Edge, and we're going up Knife's Edge, and we're going to come down Saddle. So you can look at that. So we're going to go hike into Chimney Pond. So you can remember that. But,
all right.
So I can fit like 6 people in my car.
Okay.
And so
how many people do we have so far?
Well, it's me, you.
Ryan's in for sure, right?
Ryan, Cassim, my friend Mandy, and Iris. So how many is that?
5.
That's it so far. Okay. And Hunter and Dusty may come, so they may have to get their own car. But when I reserved, there were 7 spots left.
Okay,
that's how fast they go.
I'm assuming I'll have a rental because I'll be flying in. So if I have a rental, I could also drive us too. So.
The only thing is you have to, because it's a state park.
Oh, that parking pass.
You have to give the registration and the vehicle then. So
I wouldn't be able to do it. Okay.
Right.
I see. So is the only thing left then is for us to book a place to stay then?
Yep.
Nice. All right. Exciting.
I know. Yeah. Very exciting. So we'll have to look into that.
Definitely. That's the Katahdin update. I know people. I love that the people that listen, all of our followers and friends and everything, they're so invested in the Katahdin trip.
I know.
They're like, is that what you guys were talking about? Is that it? Nope, not yet. August.
August.
Yep.
August 21st or something on that.
Somewhere around there. I think
somewhere around there.
I don't know. If I put it in my calendar yet, but
I got the parking pass for Sunday, August 21st, I believe.
Beautiful.
I believe. I'll have to look at my email.
Yeah. All right. Well, Beth,
awesome.
It was a good one. It was awesome chatting.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. And that is a wrap for this episode of Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. Did we help you cut through the bullshit? We want to know. Send us a DM on Instagram and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. And if you did find this one helpful, why not share this episode with a friend? I know I personally love it when a friend shares their favorite podcast with me, along with a text saying, "Oh my God, you have got to check out this podcast. You'll love it." And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes.